And hello again, YouTube. Change of plans, going to a different bar. Heard from a friend that wants to meet over there, and a bartender who's also a friend that used to work at one of the bars that I worked at for a long, long time is a bartender over there. I'm really eager to see her because I haven't seen her in a long time. So headed to that place. I forget the name of that place, but I remember where it is, and that's the important thing. And I'm just around the corner from it, so yay. So 9:17 p.m. Saturday, August 13th, 2022. I did say in the last video, in both the last videos, I was going to kind of give an update as to what's going on with Priscilla. By the way, I think I'm sitting on the sensor that makes the... Oh, it doesn't matter. It can be anywhere. If it's a red left arrow like we have here, you just need to be in the lane. It doesn't make a difference like where you are in the lane. You're going to get that green left arrow. Sorry, I wanted to show the shortcut for getting the green left arrow, but yeah, whenever you've got a red left arrow, it's a given you're going to get a green left arrow because you can't go on a red left arrow. All right. And when the hell did they add a red left arrow to that intersection? What the hell? Anyway, last night was odd. I'm trying to think where my videos left off last night. I don't remember the contents of yesterday's video. I'm sure there was one, or was there? I'm not sure there was. Actually, coming to think of it, I'm not sure I did shoot a video yesterday. I don't freaking remember. My memory is awful when it comes to everything. Anyway, oh yeah, duh, Friday. I was kind of doing my usual Friday routine. I remember now. Yeah, so I was at Bullocks. I left Bullocks early, about 8 o'clock, because I was, well, maybe more like 7:30, because I was super, super tired. I'm going on like 2 days in a row of just not sleeping well and getting up earlier than normal, trying to make the most out of my day. Well, can't sleep, may as well try and be productive, kind of thing. And wow, check that out. It's so busy at the Curaleaf dispensary that it's impossible to get in and out of their parking lot. Oh man, let's hear it for legalized recreational weed in Arizona. Oh, we got Just Blaze. Apparently has a traditional head shop across the street. That's awesome. And I'm just about to my destination, so I guess I'm not going to be offering much explanation of anything right now. What I can remember yesterday. Yeah, I don't think I shot a video when I left Bullocks because I was super freaking tired. Didn't feel like doing any talking, and all I could do to just focus on staying on the road as the lanes in front of me are going blurry because I'm so tired. But yeah, I left around 7:30. I got home about 8 o'clock. The only communication I really got from Priscilla was that she sent a picture of her kitchen showing a very beautiful modern updated kitchen. Kind of wish and a very clean modern updated kitchen. Wow, I wish I had one of those. I'd be happy just to have my clean outdated kitchen. Hello. Just to have my outdated kitchen clean. Anyway, yeah, so she and then she had said that she was trying to get everything out of her vehicle, which, okay, that makes sense. She's got a super cluttered vehicle, trying to get everything out of her vehicle into her new place, and then she was moving stuff that she had ready to move, which I was hoping meant stuff that was at my place, but I guess it meant stuff that she had at the front of her storage. I'm not even sure where her storage is these days. It was at one place, but I remember her talking about moving from there because the price was too high there. They jacked her rent up way high. I really don't know. I have not helped her whatsoever with her moving her stuff from storage to storage. And a lot of that just kind of stems from the fact that, well, part of it is I haven't had any transportation, so there's that. And then part of it is you know, when I was struggling to get my stuff moved around in my storage and was trying to get rid of one of my storages, And much of the time I was having to go over to my storage unit on the bus, ride the bus, something that's like a 10-minute drive, or, less than 10-minute drive away. I'm going there, spending nearly an hour on the bus trying to get there to work on moving my stuff around. And I had asked her for help with that and got absolutely no help. So part of me feels like, yeah, maybe I should be trying to help her move her stuff. But yeah, in the last couple of years when I've needed help moving my stuff, she absolutely hasn't been there for me. So, it kind of feels like now's the time to return that favor, or lack thereof favor. Yeah. So apparently, her thing last night was she was trying to move stuff that was in her storage to her place as opposed to my place. Anyway, I ended up got home at about 8 o'clock, just absolutely dead tired, like ready to collapse, dead tired. Climbed into my bed, and I was probably to sleep within 10 minutes. I mean, I don't normally fall asleep. A lot of times I have trouble falling asleep, but I fell asleep hard, really fast. And the shocking thing, I do remember I shot a video. I remember now, I did shoot a video on the way to Say When Rooftop Bar. Where's this one going? That name doesn't sound right, though. Anyway, God, I hope this is just normal parking here and not like mandatory valet parking.
Is it crazy? No, that's weird.
I think I'm at the right place, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to go to park. Wow, it looks like people are just parking in the alley, which I guess I could try a parallel park right there on the right. I don't like parking in spots like that. In fact, this whole parking scenario is so questionable that I think I'm going to do some on-street parking down the road and walk back. The exercise is going to be good. I'm sure all this parking on the right is private residential reserve parking. And that's what it looks like. The Tonto movie, he ain't wrong. Sorry, I just got a bit of a reference from him talking about the Lone Ranger movie where Johnny Depp played Tonto, and yeah, Tonto totally stole the show on that one. That's the first thing I ever watched in my system when I upgraded my shit to 7.1 surround. And to be honest, I couldn't really tell the difference between the 7.1 and 5.1. But the lights were on telling me it was working. So I'm assuming it was. Wow. There are a lot of little itty bitty condos and alley parking, kind of like where I live here, but lots of it. It's been a long time since I've driven through here. I'm not as familiar with all of this here like I used to be. There was a time when I was a cab driver where I just knew this stuff like the back of my hand, but now I'm just kind of generally remembering it. A little flashing camera up on the right, really similar to one of the ones down the street from me, or down the alley, I should say. God, hopefully they don't have on-street parking restricted here, but I know Phoenix has been restricting on-street parking in a lot of areas like this. They try to force people to park in their private parking. Oh, I see people parked on the street. I do. That's a good thing. I do believe this is 3rd Avenue right here. Turn here. Sorry, I'm having trouble focusing on my story because it's consuming everything within me trying to find a dang parking spot, figure out where I want to be. I'm sure there was someplace close to park by where I was, but I think I would rather park under this here tree. Yeah, this is a nice parking spot. Anyway, let me finish this story real quick before I head out to the bar I'm headed to. By the way, I got my sandwich at QT, and it was freaking delicious. For those who don't know, QT is more than just a, as it says on the bag, more than a gas station. I think pretty much every QT location at this point has an actual kitchen where they prepare food. And if you've ever wondered, ooh, it's food from a gas station, is that food good? Yes, actually it is. It's better than a lot of fast food places, actually. It's not cheap though. It's more expensive than a lot of fast food places. Like the sandwich I got the they call it the gourmet ham and cheese. Okay, where the hell did my I'm trying to figure out where the hell my car key just went. Okay, it was just in my hand, and now it seems to be missing. Okay, this is one of those moments where I feel like I'm losing my mind. Okay, there's my other phone. I feel earbuds. I feel house keys. I feel phone cables. There it is. I put it in the wrong key. I've kind of got an organization system where I put everything in my pockets to cope with my faulty memory on remembering where things are. As long as everything's put away in its right place, then generally it'll be there. But for some reason I put those keys in the wrong place. Hopefully y'all can hear me okay. I'm shooting on the iPhone, and it does not its microphone does not handle wind well. It usually just makes a shit ton of wind noise, so hopefully y'all can hear me over the wind. This is a really pretty little neighborhood. I like these older style apartments, I guess they would be, little row houses, which is actually kind of really similar to what I live in, but these ones just seem to be a little nicely restored. Of course, as I said, this entire area has become big time gentrified, so I can only imagine what these rent for now. You know, and the funny thing is, back in the 90s, you could rent one of those places for like $500, $600, $500 a month, these little spots. But now, God, they're probably like $1,500 or more a month for less square footage than I have. There's another one. Now this one's kind of neat. It looks like they've actually, what used to be outside walkways and stairs, it looks like they've somehow enclosed them. I remember this building, but I remember all the walkways and stuff being outside. So yeah, it looks like they've enclosed them. Although getting closer, it doesn't look like it's like fully enclosed. Yeah, it's not fully enclosed, because that's just a gate. So we've got glass there, and interesting modification of this building. I vaguely remember what that building was like, when I was a cab driver, and it being these being like super cheap apartments over here. In fact, this was totally the hood in the 90s. It's kind of funny how it's become such an upscale area now, but that's the gentrification factor. Yeah, somebody call that phone number. Find out what these places are leasing for. 602-957-4999. I'm guessing probably $1,500 a month or more. And it's not even on how nice they are. I'm sure they're very nicely restored inside based on what they've done to that entry area. But yeah, these were total like ghetto apartments 20 years ago. They still can't seem to get their lights to not strobe. I see that problem happening everywhere. Anyway, I was trying to explain what's going on with Priscilla, and I'm not staying cohesive to that at all today. Basically, I hear the light rail coming, and I'm pretty darn sure I'm on 3rd Avenue headed south to Camelback right now. And I was trying to say what happened last night. It'll all come together when I remember last night. So went home, knocked the fuck out at 8 o'clock. Priscilla wasn't there, kind of frustrated. I came home to the back door being wide open. Well, not wide open, but it was cracked. It wasn't shut and it wasn't locked. God damn, woman, really? So shut it, did not lock the deadbolt, wanted to make sure that she could get in. And the Newton, whatever that is. remember this used to be a steakhouse, and the steakhouse went out of business when this area started to kind of fall apart. Well, apparently I look suspicious to the security guard. He's rushing up on me. He's rushing up. Got a lot of extra aggressive security people. Yeah, there's a guy with a cell phone recording stuff. Well, you better get on that. I'm on the sidewalk, dude. I got all the right to record in the world. Oh. That person on a bicycle. And as you see, Camelback has no bike lane. So as bad as it is for cyclists to be on the sidewalk, she doesn't really have a lot of choice right here. Although I would argue that she does have the option of not riding on Camelback and instead riding on Coulter Street. Coulter Street is really good for cross town as a bike route. It goes through, I believe, from 16th Street all the way to I-17. And it's a great, comfortable ride for a bike. Plenty of space. No, there's not a marked bike lane or marked bike route, but it's you don't have to freak out anybody who's walking on a narrow sidewalk like that would startle me a little bit. And imagine if I had headphones on. Like, I wouldn't have heard her ring her little bell, you know. Anyway, transit in this area probably about as good as it gets, you know, for living in Phoenix. I mean, you got the light rail right here. You've also got the Route 0 going up and down Central. You've got Route 50, which has a really decent service in this part of Camelback. And then you've also got the Route 8 on 7th Avenue. As you see, we got the nicer, newer bus shelters here. This is a more, you know, a more gentrified area, so Phoenix is actually making an effort to make this stuff look nicer. Apparently they're making an effort to keep the homeless people out of this shelter as well, so kind of thankful for that. I like the music that's playing here. Anyway, I was kind of surprised that I woke up, and I did shoot a short video on the way over to Wander Inn. Anyway, Priscilla ended up showing up at Wander Inn. I don't remember what time. I want to say maybe 11 o'clock, 11:30, almost midnight-ish, which makes me wonder how late her storage is open. I can't get into my storage after 7, but apparently hers is open considerably later than that. But yeah, she, when we were talking at the bar, and things were kind of weird with her at the bar, and then of course I had a friend that showed up that she's convinced that she's convinced that there's stuff going on between me and that person, and of course it's just consequently treats him like absolute shit, which is not cool. And he's like, I really don't like her. I'm like, yeah, I don't blame you. I said, she's treating you extra shitty, and nobody should treat anybody like that. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just thinking how much nicer this area would be if you didn't have 3 lanes in each direction of strode traffic on Camelback between the rail lines. Like, imagine if Phoenix had managed to somehow divert all this vehicle traffic somewhere else. And by somewhere else, you know, and this is where I differ from a lot of people who are in favor of walkable cities. I'm thinking in my head how much cooler this area would be had State Route 50 Paradise Parkway actually been built. Had that actually been built, there would be a freeway just to the north of here, cutting through this neighborhood. Oh, freeways cut neighborhoods in half. You know, not so much. Not if they're designed well. I mean, as long as there's, you know, pedestrian pathways, like I think Portland is actually a good working example of it. Where the I-5 goes right through downtown Portland, I don't feel it cuts downtown Portland in half at all. Every single street crosses it. If you're a pedestrian, you just simply walk over the freeway. You know, is there a block's worth of stuff that used to be there that's no longer there? Yes, that block is gone. It's been replaced by a freeway. But all of that traffic is not on the city streets like it is here on Camelback. It's on a freeway, and I'm thinking, man, if the 50 was built, if Paradise Parkway existed, if Paradise Parkway existed, almost all this traffic, all this noisy ass vehicle traffic that makes this a lot less pleasant area to walk. All of that would be on the Paradise Parkway Freeway, just to the north of here. Making much better time, not having to stop at constant red lights. That's where most of this traffic would be. And this neighborhood would otherwise be just about the same way as it is right now. In theory, they have the light rail in the same location, except maybe, just maybe, there'd only be one lane of vehicle traffic. And there wouldn't be much vehicle traffic, and it'd be driving at like, 30 or 25. And this area would have nice white, would have, that's actually a white sidewalk right here. It was narrower further back, but this area would just be a lot more walkable, I'm thinking. I don't know. Just theorizing. Of course, that's a different timeline that I don't live in, so, no me expending too much thought about it. Anyway, conversation with Priscilla last night. The main thing that I got out of that was pretty frustrating to me is that she's only got 3 more days that she has her storage, that she's not renewing her storage because of all the money she's had to put into getting an apartment. She does not have money to pay her rent on her storage, which again has me thinking, put it on a credit card. That's how I floated my storage for a long time when I didn't have hardly any income. But I mean, I can applaud her for not wanting to rack up a bunch of credit card debt right now. But on the same token, like, it's woman, you're inconveniencing me. You're inconveniencing me. I really want you to get your shit out of my place. And you've just told me that your focus for the next 3 days is getting all of your stuff moved out of your storage into your new place, which means that you're not going to be making any effort to get your crap out of my place, which is horribly, like, it's the whole reason I want you to get now is to get all your shit out of my place, get your mess out of my place, so I can clean my kitchen and clean my daughter's room and clean my bathroom and clean my living room and take control of my place, Dag, and you're worried about your storage. Hello. Like, to me, the obvious solution, I mean, yeah, credit card debt is bad, but I mean, how much can that bill be? It can't be more than a couple $100. Pay your damn storage rent for another month and focus on getting your shit out of my place. It's like, well, I got 3 days. And I guess the difference is that in 3 days, her storage place, in 3 days, guaranteed, her storage place is going to put additional locks on those units, and they are not going to give her access to her stuff. The way storage leases are written, yeah, you don't pay, you don't get your stuff. It's not like residential places where you've got certain amounts of protections on your stuff, and there's things landlords specifically have to do, which granted I don't think I have to do because she's a guest, not a tenant. Although I've been looking closely at the laws, and we're definitely in a big legal gray area there. I fully admit that. But regardless, storage, it's a whole different ball game with storage. With storage, it's very specified, like when your rent is due and how much of a grace period you have, and it's usually only a couple of days. And at that point, locks go on there, and you do not get your shit back unless you pay for another month's worth of stuff. I mean, I'm sure you've all heard, if you haven't seen it, you've all heard of the show Storage Wars, where people go in and they buy unseen contents, or you can only get a glimpse from the outside contents of storage units that are sold at auction. Oh yeah, that's a very real thing. Most storage places, that's how they do it. They just auction off the contents of whatever people had in storage, and sometimes it's a lot of valuable stuff, and sometimes it's just a bunch of garbage that some hoarder has been, for inexplicable reasons, throwing into a storage unit. Yeah. That kind of describes my storage, but that's a separate tragedy. Anyway, yeah, so, wow, traffic was actually stopped, and it said wait, but it didn't let me go across. This is what makes this not a very walkable area, because you have to wait so long to try to get across. So much vehicular traffic, and of course you get the temptation to just say fuck that and run across, which is dangerous because now I'm running against the light, and okay, I got the box again. But yeah, if there wasn't all this there wasn't all this strode traffic here, like, it'd make this neighborhood so much more walkable. Now this parking here, this is, I believe, Park and Ride. Yeah, here we go. Central Avenue, Camelback Park and Ride. This is all Park and Ride traffic, which, as you can see, there's nobody parked here. In theory, so people who live in the central city, but not like walking distance to here, can come here and park and catch the light rail to take it to places. But as you can see, yeah, people are just driving to those places. Nobody's parking their car here and taking the light rail, at least not in the evening. And I was right, this is 3rd Avenue. So anyway, Priscilla's like, well, I got 3 days. I got 3 days to do it, even if nobody's gonna help me. It's worth noting, I don't think she even asked me to help her. I think she's just trying to make me feel bad that I'm not helping her. Apparently she's blissfully unaware that the main thing I'm doing that is helping her is not taking everything that's in her place and throwing it in my dumpster. You understand, like, that's kind of what I want to do, and like that's a major help. I'm not doing that to you, so, you know, be like, whatever. Probably be more diligent about getting your shit out of my place. Anyway, yeah, she's belly aching about how frustrated she was that nobody was coming to help her on that. Which, you know, kind of got to wonder what, you know, the people that she's frustrated with that aren't helping her with that, you know, what has she done for them lately, right? You know, kind of got to ask that question. But yeah, it's kind of interesting, like, you know, before I finally put my foot down, I'm like, no, you don't live here anymore. I'm changing the locks. You need to get the hell out. Like, you need to get the hell out now, like, into this month. Wow, into last month. You need to go now. Like, you're past your date. Get the fuck out. So I'm finally putting my foot down. It's interesting that she's, you know, prior to that had so many places that she could stay overnight, and sometimes for 2 and 3 days at a time. But none of those people want her moving in. That's become abundantly clear to me, because now she's suddenly at my place all the time, you know, every night. I mean, last night she even stayed with me, and I'm just like, well, why aren't you staying at your new place? And she's like, well, I don't have a bed there. I don't have anything there. I'm like, you know, when I first got my house in Tucson and got out of her roommate situation, that, to be fair, wasn't a bad roommate situation. Like, I was sharing a house with my friend Todd and his girlfriend and another friend, and I forget his name, but the place was in Todd's name. And me and my fiance Daniela were there, and it wasn't a bad roommate. Just to be completely clear, it was actually a really good roommate situation. But we were really eager to get our own place. I mean, Daniela was like 7 months pregnant, 6 months pregnant, and we really wanted our own place. Well, we managed to get a house in Tucson. Managed to buy a house. That first night, there was nothing there. We didn't have a bed. We didn't even have a bed to move there. Actually, come to think of it, I think I did have my own futon in our place with Todd. That was actually mine. But regardless, it wasn't even. We hadn't gotten around. It didn't fit in the Saturn. We had a Saturn back then, not the same Saturn I have now. It was a 2001 SL. Yeah, it would have been kind of impossible to have a 2006 Saturn back in 2002. Yes, it would have. Anyway, so. Or was this in 2001? I don't know. It's so long ago, it's hard to remember. Anyway, yeah, so Daniela and I had the Saturn. Yeah, and so I was telling Priscilla, it's like, you know, that first night that we got our house, we just grabbed some blankets and slept on the floor because we were so glad to be in our own place. It was just such a mark of freedom. And she's like, well, that's you, and this is me. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's me, and this is you. Still wanting to take up space in my place, still wanting to invade my space. You've got your own space, and you still want to invade my space. Anyway. Now, granted, we didn't go home from the bar together because we didn't arrive at the bar together, and I did give my friend a ride back to his place, because he had come there unexpectedly in an Uber. Well, I didn't realize this park and ride spaces go all the way to 7th Avenue. I never noticed that before. Another bus stop here, because yeah, we're all the way down to 7th Avenue, so this will be the 7th Avenue stop for the westbound, the eastbound Route 50. Now these are fun. There's more of these. And I'm sure I've shown these in several, I know I've shown these in several other videos. This particular style of bike rack, these were the docks for Grid rental bikes. Oh, and this one's still got the Grid logo on it. That's cool. Most of them, they've removed the labels on them, say Grid. But yeah, Grid rental bikes, Grid bike share. Yeah, rental bikes. Sharing is when you ask your friend, hey, can I borrow your bike? And we'll let you use it. It's not bike share, that's fucking rental. I love how, like, taxi service is called ride share and rental bikes are called bike share. That fucking, it's not sharing, it's renting. It's paying for a service. That is not sharing. That is not what sharing means. This whole modern thing of let's change the definition of words to make it sound better. Oh my God, like one that was being talked about when I was eating my sandwich on the radio is how they're like, oh, it makes people feel bad if you call them pedophiles. You should call them minor attracted people. No, they're fucking pedophiles, dude. No, we're not changing the language to make that acceptable. It's not acceptable. Anyway, this is what the new labeling that's replacing a lot of the old Grid docks. So Grid had to put these docks in place for the contract with the city, and now it says park bikes on this side, bike parking, active transportation program, City of Phoenix stuff. But yeah, these things are all over, and as you can see, nobody's using them. They're just sitting here empty. They're almost always empty every place I see them. I didn't realize there were some here as part of this park and ride, but which is kind of crazy because well, I guess I was going to say the light rail station's a half mile that way, but come to think of it, you also get a light rail station right here. So, which is one of those head scratchers of why you got light rail stations so close together. It kind of defeats the purpose of having a light rail, but Phoenix light rail kind of defeats the purpose of having light rail. I mean, every place else I've lived or visited where I've used light rail, the thing that makes light rail efficient to get around the city is because the stations are spaced far apart, and the trains go very fast between the stations, and then when you get to a station, there's like a transit center there, and when you get to the transit center, if where you're going is not walking distance from the station, and generally speaking, you've got like a very walkable area, neighborhood, businesses, everything close, without being obstructed by giant parking lots and giant stroads. Everything's just like nice and close to the transit center where you can walk to it. As far as like there's a lot of apartment buildings and shopping and other places that people would go to as destinations like stadiums and community centers and whatnot. But then there's also a bunch of bus stops nearby, and if you need to go someplace that's not walking distance from the light rail station, the transit center that is the light rail station, you catch a bus and you go to the next next 2 or 3 miles you need to go, you take that. But no, Phoenix has got this thing of putting their light rail stations every half mile. Every half mile. So you got these trains stopping just about as frequently as a bus stops, which makes it really not much faster than riding a bus. But hey, we got light rail. Come to Phoenix, we have light rail. We're a modern, progressive city with light rail. Yeah, for half the park and ride, for half the Central and Camelback park and ride, the 7th Avenue station is a closer walk to the parking lot. It's kind of whack. I'm gonna push the button one more time. I'm gonna walk. I've done enough waiting. Anyway, so yeah, Priscilla's made it pretty clear. Her focus is emptying her storage. She did say that she woke me up before she left. Wow, I can't even say nice truck. That's a hideous truck. And also, sorry about your penis. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what used to be in this spot here. We got another big vacant spot centrally located. I can't remember what business used to be here. Usually I'm pretty good at that, but I'm drawing a blank right now. And are you desperate for a car? Go to Cactus Jack's. We love people who have bad credit, so we can screw you on car payments. Oh, by the way, I saw the best video earlier today about how much debt and the levels of debt people are willing to go to have a new car and a nice car. I'm definitely linking that to the description. Check the description, check that link, watch that. Car debt is stupid. Now granted, transit is awful. Oh God, you gotta have a car. I don't disagree with that, but you know, if more people were willing to go, no, I don't want to embrace that car debt. I can't afford that car debt, and either try to get by with old cars or insist, actually started using transit. If more people would use transit, the transit would have to get better. It just would. It just would. The city would have to meet the needs of the populace that is using it. But meanwhile, people are willing to go to places like Cactus Jack's because they love bad credit, because they will screw you over. That video, the one I'm saying I'm going to link, I've never watched this particular YouTuber, but apparently he's like a financial planner and is in the whole financial advice space of YouTube, which I've been watching a lot of lately. I don't know. I started watching a couple of videos, and the next thing I know, the algorithms are recommending me a whole bunch. But this one was a great video. He actually had like footage of him talking to people that he's giving financial advice to, like actual clients of his, and something that I didn't know was a thing. Like, wait, people do this? Holy crap. He had at least 3 different people trying to explain what their car debt was. I'm used to hearing the people who call in to Dave Ramsey, and at least those people are sort of on the road to fixing their finances because they're listening to Dave Ramsey. Not that I 100% endorse Dave Ramsey, because he's got a lot of his stuff that's kind of stupid as well, but like he's a little off the other edge and coming from a point of privilege that a lot of people just aren't able to start at. But as you see, we got more packing stacks going in here, all made of wood. Oh yeah, that just looks like a huge fire waiting to happen. Nothing. Note to self, never live in this building. Its infrastructure is just wood, with the exception of the elevator shaft. Oh, what was I saying? So I'm rambling all over the place with this video, and I've wasted like 37 minutes, which means my friend is probably at the bar thinking I stood him up, which I haven't. I'm just trying to get all this out. Anyway, he had this video that I watched, I'm going to link in the description, showing his actual clients, and what they were talking about is how much money and how much payments they were making every month towards their car, and these figures seemed astronomical, and he's like trying to get them to explain, wait, no, how can you be paying, how are you possibly paying $800, $900 a month on a 2-year-old car? This makes no sense. On a 2-year-old Nissan. We're not talking about these people are not, they're not wealthy people. These are people like in their 20s that are working jobs that probably don't pay a whole lot more than my job at Amazon does. And it's like, how are you? Like, one girl was saying that she lived with her mom, so she only gave her mom $300 a month towards rent. Man, if I was her mom, I would be putting my foot down on that. Like, whoa, you're not living in my house and then not getting your own finances in order. Living in my house and not paying rent does not equal you get to be irresponsible on everything else. Come on now, get your shit together. Like, yeah, like if my kid was living with me and I'm like helping them with the rent, which of course I would do. A parent doesn't want my kids to be homeless, but on the same token, like, no. If you got $900 a month to spend on a car, here, let me give you a bus pass, and you need to sell that car and get yourself an apartment. Get the fuck out of my place. You got enough money to get your own place. You're pissing it away on something that's ridiculously unnecessary. Buy yourself a $2,000 used car. $800 a month. Wait, how are you paying that? And of course, he's asking people, well, how are you doing that? And then come to find out, what these people had done is got a loan for their down payment. They didn't have the down payment for the car. They got a loan, some kind of like high interest, predatory, payday loan, whatever, got some kind of loan, because I mean, I see signs out there all the way, hey, there's money here, apply for a loan, apply for a loan. I don't want it. I don't want to owe any more money. But these people had gotten that loan and used that money for their down payment, and then bought a new car. So they had the car payment plus the high interest loan, the high interest car payment, and the high interest loan payment. Insanity. It's just, I can't see people like that. Just seems like absolutely insanity to me. Like, tough it out, figure it out, use a bus pass for a month, figure it out, get on Craigslist. Somebody's selling a car on the cheap. I mean, I did see a car that was parked in front of the Wander Inn. It was an older, probably about a 15-year-old Chevy. Oh God, I forget what the hell it's called. Not a Cavalier, but the car that replaced the Cavalier. But yeah, just a cheap ass Chevy. It probably has some issues, but it says it ran. It says runs. It was under $1,000. Maybe get your shitty high interest loan and buy that. If you don't have enough money to buy that, and if you don't have enough money to buy that, like, you should be able to somehow save up $1,000 to buy a beater. God damn. And I did. Like, I didn't know when I was going to get my car back. I thought about buying that car. I really did. Fortunately, like a couple days later, I got my car back from Rob. He did text me today. He's like, hey, can you come by tomorrow and give me some money? I'm like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. I actually almost got up and brought him money at that point in time, but I woke up early today, and I almost did the same thing of like starting my day, and didn't. And I'm glad I didn't, because obviously I needed sleep, and I got good sleep. But yeah, I was contemplating going and moving stuff around in my storage. I was contemplating maybe spending the day over at Bullock's and working on my music, because I've done that before. It's been a long time since I've done it on a day other than Friday when my shit's already set up, but I've done it before. And I've done it. Oh, that's what he was calling it, Don Woods. Don Woods is in really small text. Say when is big text. Don Woods, that's what he was calling the place. Okay. It's probably in there waiting for me. I should get my ass inside to the bar, instead of having my friend thinking that I've fucking ghosted him. Because he's probably trying to message me on my other phone, which is in my pocket. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I mean, not like I'm a guy anybody should really be taking life, but here's how you better your life, coming from the guy that's life is awful. But just say it. Like, watching that video was just like some peak level cringe of, wow, that just, you're doing what to have a car? Because damn. Anyway, I'm going in here. I don't know what's up with Priscilla. I really don't. I wish she was a little more motivated to get her shit out of my place. I wish she would just realize that your stuff that's your stuff that's in storage is not subject to the whim of a crazy person that wants your shit out of his place. And all you got to do to make sure that shit is secure is just pay a little bit of money, whereas the other guy is so angry at you that even a little bit of money is not likely to change his opinion on throwing your shit out. I wish she would look at the world from that angle, but she's not. Anyway, thanks for coming with me on this long and largely unnecessary walk, and yeah, more bad advice from me coming in the next video.